Welcome to the From the North podcast. Three brothers from the same lodge, three master masons, get together and talk, sometimes about Masonic stuff, sometimes not. This episode, not so much. Let's go around the room and introduce ourselves.
Well, you don't know that yet because we haven't recorded anything.
No. It's fully admitted that we are recording this after the fact.
No, this for the record. This intro is this is done before everything else.
That's my bad. This was recorded when we started.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
We are starting. I am AC Ransom.
Yeah, there we go. Because it's not when we started.
Exactly.
We've already started.
Exactly. We are starting. So I am AC Ransom. Would you? I am AC Ransom, Master Mason here at Harmony Lodge 21 in Logan, Utah.
And I am Gary Roberts. I'm the guy who guards the door against Cowans and eavesdroppers. And I usually eavesdrop for a while so I can find out when it's good for me to enter lodge, usually after about 50 minutes of minute reading. And then I sneak in.
I'm Jason Lee, Junior Deacon, Harmony 21. I am supposed to remember to bring Gary in when it's time, and I mostly forget. So
that's right, I forgot.
So Gary usually just sits outside for a while.
Well, it sounds like he doesn't mind that he gets to miss the minutes and stuff. So
yeah, it doesn't hurt my feelers.
I'll bet not.
Can we?
I get a lot of good reading on my iPhone done out in the.
What do you read?
Everything.
Okay.
Whatever I
want.
want.
That's a cryptic answer.
Yeah, that's scary.
Mysterious.
Yeah, okay.
Mostly work emails.
Oh, boo.
Oh, yeah. Boring. All right, fair enough.
Corona beer or coronavirus? I haven't decided.
I've never had a Corona beer.
Neither have I.
Beer's just not.
But to be honest with you, I've never had a beer.
If you're gonna start drinking, don't do it, beer, dude. It's so gross.
Somebody on Facebook this morning, a friend of mine, was like, the weekend's getting started. He had 6 cases of Corona.
Holy
cases!
That's a solid amount. But I feel like if that's your goal, if your goal is to get drunk, I feel like beer is the bad choice to do that. Especially in Utah. Well, I guess Utah's a little better now, but it's just a low percentage of alcohol. I feel like if you're gonna get drunk, you go for something that's gonna get you drunk.
Something you gotta buy from the state liquor store.
Exactly. I agree with that.
But ought we to get drunk? Because temperance is one of the things that we say that we claim to practice as Masons.
So I got drunk.
So is it okay to get drunk at all as a Mason? Fun question.
Here's a story.
Oh boy,
we're recording this, right?
We are.
Okay. So I'm all about having like the human experience, right? Like almost not necessarily like check boxes, but like there's things I want to do that like I feel like are necessary to like have done in your life at some point. And most of them are pretty mundane things, right? Like whatever. But one of the ones that's been on my, it's not a bucket list. It's not like I have to do it before I die or something. It's more of it just like this is a common human thing. And so like getting blackout drunk has always been like a goal of mine. No, I'm serious.
He's gonna go hard at it your first time, huh?
Yes!
He's gonna do it right and go all the way.
No, just get yourself some bourbon, some high proof bourbon, and you're good.
You're not far off, man.
Headache experience the next morning.
Oh, you ever had that, thank goodness?
You're not far off. I had a friend of mine who, like, part of my concern with, I've never been obviously super inebriated, and so I don't know what I'm going to be like when I am super drunk. And you know, I've grown up with just like when you get drunk, you're a completely different person. Like everything that you were before is just gone, which I've learned is not the case. But I was very concerned that I would be like, maybe I'm a mean drunk, maybe I don't know, right? And so I wanted to make sure that like if I was going to do this, I wanted to do it like with someone that would make sure I don't like pick up my phone and start texting people.
And start just mean texting people?
or I'm more like, you know, past girlfriends being like, I still love you, or like, you know, like I do not want that to happen. I can't have that happen. So I had to, again, so there's so it's very necessary to have someone to just like kind of take care of me.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. If you're going to be like essentially less conscious in a way, it's got to be around safe people.
Exactly. And so like that was the whole point of this. Like that was the whole point. We were hanging out. It was like I knew like going into this, like I bought a bunch of alcohols that I was gonna, like I've tried a few before, but I've never like had more than like maybe 2 or 3 glasses of anything. And so I brought like some rum, obviously, for like Coke, rum and Coke. I brought Coke too. I brought Kahlua and cream is actually friggin' amazing, and I don't even like coffee, but like it was super good. Anyway, so that was the objective. I got there. Like I definitely got there, and my body's not used to alcohol, so of course I threw up everywhere. Like that was part of it too.
Oh
but
man!
Up until
why would you
that point-
voluntarily suffer?
Up until
Like
that
that.
You
point,
had the full experience.
yeah, that's part of it. And I went through all of the stages of a drunk. Like I went through the stage where they had to hide the alcohol because like I wanted to get all of it. I went through this.
I can just picture this.
I went through the stage of where I was just super belligerent. I'm just like, no, I don't need anything. Everybody go away. I went through the stage of like super happy that everyone was my friend and I just love everyone. I was super sad at one point. I was super angry. I covered all the bases.
Just the whole shebang.
The whole gambit of drunk emotions I went through in a single experience. And then I threw up and wished I was dead. And I'm skipping over a lot of stuff that I wanted to say about this, but I'm laying in the bathroom. Just like,
don't skip it. This is good.
Well, no, this is funny though. I'm laying in the bathroom and it's freezing cold, and I'm going in and out of like being awake.
Mm-hmm.
And like I remember certain moments of where I'm just like the toilet. I'm just like all around that. I'm just like, this is my life now. This is where I live. And I'm just yelling this to nobody. I'm just like, this is my home now. I'm never leaving because like I'm super sick, obviously. But I guess at one point, I finally just like laid down and like just completely passed out. And then I woke up a couple hours later and I'm just shivering cold, just free because I'm on a cold bathroom
on the
floor.
floor.
So they
Next to this warm toilet.
well, so they brought in a dog bed. Like a big dog bed, and she's like, just sleep on this. And so I'm sleeping on a dog bed.
Why didn't you just go to the couch or something?
Because I was probably belligerent again. It was just like, no, I live in the bathroom. I don't know.
That's, okay, fair enough. Who knows what or why?
They couldn't get me out, I guess. Or maybe that was just the safest place for me to be.
Because I have to throw up
Throwing
again, you're
up,
there.
yeah.
Fair enough.
So they brought me a dog bed, and I'm like laying on this dog bed. And I don't remember this, but I wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning. Maybe it was 4. I don't even know. But I'm in a dog bed. I'm just like, oh, well, that was a good, because it was warm. It's like it was good. And if I threw up in it, oh well, you just wash the dog bed. It's fine. But anyway, so then I decided that I wanted to like lay on the couch, and so I went and laid on the couch. But then everything was fine after that. It was really an interesting experience though, because everything I did was really just my normal self, just like amplified to stupid levels.
You lose all your inhibitions.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just stupid. I don't know if it's inhibitions. And they were trying to get me onto the couch because like I was waving my hands everywhere and like they didn't want me to knock stuff over. And well, there was this whole thing of where like I knocked over the coffee cups, like the Keurig cups, and then I was trying to sort them for like 10 minutes, and I was like drunkenly like looking at the color of the cup and being like, okay, this one's gray, and then trying to put it in the hole, and like that was like my whole like that's what I do when I'm drunk. I just sort things apparently. But then they were trying to get me on the couch, but I didn't want to get on the couch, and so like I was like kneeling on the couch or something as someone else was trying to walk in the house, and they're like, hey, they're gonna walk in a second, and you need to like, they're trying anything they can do to get me on the couch, and I'm like, no, it's okay, I'm kneeling here. They'll just think that I'm like praying or something. Then I go, dear God, please give me a pony. And that's like, this is drunk Jason, just like
wanting a pony.
I just want a pony and I want to sort things.
Actually, I think the funniest part is for you at that moment, that was a convincing fake prayer for everyone. Like, of course, if you're praying, you're asking for a pony.
Yeah, what else are you gonna ask for?
They'll buy that story. Like, oh, he's totes praying. I heard him ask for a pony. That's a legit
Well,
prayer.
it's like that was my thing, and then they like put like a table up next to the couch to like block me in so that I wouldn't be able to leave. Because apparently I was just like, no. And that was my mad phase, I guess. It was a very interesting experience because even that part, even before the like nightmare of throwing up and that whole
Sounds
thing.
like a nightmare.
It was bad, man. Like, it was really bad. And I haven't had a drink since, so there you go. I don't want to drink since, and I can't drink Coke anymore because that's mostly what I drank was rum and Coke, right? So yeah, I guess I'm off Coke now too, which is good. Now I'm drinking Pepsi, so there you go. Anyways, fun experience. Probably won't do it again. I might get slightly inebriated in the future, but not that extreme.
So,
Not
yeah.
drop down.
No.
Yeah, see, that's the way I am too. I mean, me, it's all about the fear of loss of control.
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
I will not do any of the other stuff. I just no. It's the loss of control thing. I mean, that's the thing I remember thinking the whole time. I've lost control. I've lost control. I've lost control. And at the end of that, these two buddies had done other things in their previous life as well. In high school, they were high school buddies, and they were like, and at that point, that barrier for them had been crossed, and they were like, dude, we need to go find some marijuana. And at that point, all of a sudden, my morals turned on. No, dudes, we can't do that. That's illegal. We can drink all the beer we want, but we can't have marijuana. That's where I crossed the line.
That's where your line is? Okay.
That's your line in the sand.
No, but like I was doing the same thing. Again, this is the first time I've ever been drunk, legitimately.
That was mine. So
and I was doing the same thing. At first I was telling people, I was like, listen, I want you to know that I'm aware that I'm not acting normal right now. Like, I wanted people to know that I knew that.
You're trying to help them understand your experience of
yeah. But then I was also like, there was a part where I put a bowl on, they had me holding a bowl just in case I did throw up, because that was a very good thing of them to do because that came in handy. But there was one part where I just put the bowl on my head, and I was just laying on the couch with this bowl over my head, and I just started talking to myself, no one else,
into this bowl.
into this bowl. And I'm just like, Jason, listen. You know what? You're being ridiculous right now, and everyone thinks you're a crazy person. You need to calm down. And I'm like, part of my brain was still trying to save myself, but there was no saving me at that point.
Funny knowing what you do for a living.
I know. But it was just so weird because
this is psychiatrist Jason talking
this
to
is a
drunk
part
ass
of,
Jason.
There's a part of your brain still trying to be your job for yourself.
Well, it was trying to get things back under control because again, I could tell the whole time, and I was making comments. I have this fun little thing. This is a whole different story, but I was saying stuff like, future Jason is going to be so mad about this that I'm doing this right now that I'm because I'm like when I would say that, I'm like, future Jason's going to be so mad because he's going to remember this and he's going to be like, oh, you stupid idiot, why would you do that? And it was accurate. That's so true. Future Jason is mad that I was sorting coffee cups and just being a jerk and that I slept in a dog bed, man. Anyways, but no, I really liked the human experience of going through that because that's something that so many people has happened, right? That's so human. And I'm glad that I didn't miss out on that. I'm glad that I had that human experience and that I had it with someone that was going to make sure I wasn't a crazy person or too crazy.
Those were people that you could trust.
Yeah, people I could trust, and it definitely kept my phone away from me. And again, there was that one point where they saw that I was past the point of drinking, I had drunk too much. They saw that and they were like, okay, we gotta get rid of the alcohol. And so they literally went downstairs and locked it in a safe or something. But while they were away, I was like, no, that's dumb. I want more. And so I go into their cupboards and I root around for vodka and stuff. And I found a bottle of vodka. And because drunk Jason,
they come back up from locking it all, being like, hey, and
I'm
like, where did you find this?
Well, that's exactly what happened. I was like, don't worry, I found the vodka. But it was just drunk Jason wanted drunk Jason to never die. Every part of that was okay, we've got to keep drunk Jason going. But also there was that other part of my brain that's just drunk Jason, you're stupid, and all of this is super dumb. We need to make this stop. So here's the prequel. Again, the reason why I wanted a friend to kind of watch over me is because I've tried this once before, but I did it by myself. And I hid my phone and put it under a bunch of stuff, and I blocked the door. Again, this is going into it with the idea that I'm going to be a different person. So I'm what if drunk Jason tries to drive? I got to make sure that drunk Jason can't drive, right? And so like I did a bunch of preemptive stuff. Again, not really realizing that drunk Jason would still choose not to drive because he's not that stupid.
There would be a small chance, like, I don't think the drunk you would be that stupid, but there's always a small chance you might get that stupid.
Exactly. So I wanted to
I
make sure.
think you have to be stupid before you drink to do that anyways. But
Well, then that was checkbox.
checkbox. Not that stupid. Good job.
Nope, I am. Okay, whatever. It's not whatever. Anyways, but I tried this once before, and but I did it by myself. And so and following this, I realized that I needed to have that social element a part of it, because that's part of what makes drinking good, is that social element.
Being around people.
What I did is I basically just pounded a big old bottle of wine, like as quickly as I possibly could, to try to get inebriated again. But again, this was by myself. And then I just kind of waited for it to hit, and I recorded it, and like what happened, because I wanted sober Jason to be able to go back and be like, okay, let's take a look at what drunk Jason is like.
You are such a psychiatrist.
We're going to write a paper on this one.
You are-
I was just curious.
You are
and
such a psychiatrist.
Well, but
man.
the problem was, one, I don't think I'm Irish, or rather, I have an Irish heritage, and so I think I have a slightly high tolerance for alcohol, because at that time did not get me anywhere near what it was this last time. But I was still definitely drunk, not as bad. But all it was like an hour and a half of me just like, we call it tacting, or just like labeling what I'm experiencing. And so I'd be like, okay, I feel like this is literally the video. It'd be like, okay, my face is slightly numb. Yep, okay, I've noticed that I can't speak very well. I am now going to try to walk. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there, I do like a finger thing. Okay, fine motor skills are a little bit hampered. And it's like, that's all it is, like an hour and a half, just me being really stupid.
I love how you turn your drinking experience into basically your work.
Well, and
you're analyzing your own behavior while it's going on.
And leading up to this experience with my friend, I've been slowly increasing the amount I drink when I do drink. But I always keep track of how much alcohol I'm consuming to be able to tell, like, okay, I just had 3 ounces of 40% rum. Then I figure out how much alcohol that is. And then I go, okay, this is how inebriated I feel. I ask people oftentimes, how drunk do you think I am right now? Because like, this is my goal. I want to know, like, okay, if I get to 7 ounces, is that enough alcohol? Is it 8? Is it 8.3?
Isn't this supposed to be fun?
When Jason gets to 9.2, that is equals drunk.
So again, the same friend
was good drunk.
The same friend just got a new job, and so we went drinking, and again. This is a prequel kind of.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing, and everybody was acting like I was a crazy person. But like that's what I do, okay? Like I'm going to count how many freaking ounces it takes to get drunk. However, when I didn't do that, because the goal to get blackout drunk was just to get blackout drunk, so I didn't count my ounces. That was the first time that I actually achieved my goal. So like sometimes you don't need to count, is what I'm saying. That's the moral of this story. You don't always, to anyone listening, you don't need to count how many ounces of alcohol you've consumed. It's okay, just
to hit your goal.
Just go. Just go for it. And if your goal is to get, slightly inebriated, just do that. That's fine. And if your goal is to never wake up again, then don't do that, because that's sad. It was good.
That's just an interesting experience, though. But I mean, from that, I've had a very similar experience, and to this day, it's one I never want to repeat again.
Oh, I agree.
I've learned to the point where I've experienced it. I didn't like it.
Yes.
I'm not going to do it again.
That's the point. That's the point of this. It's not necessarily every single one of them has to be a one and done, I'll never do it again type of thing. But the idea is just to not identify what it is to be human, but identify experiences that a lot of humans have, and then make sure that I experience that, right? So skydiving is not on there, right? Because that's not, I would not actually classify that as a human experience, because you go back to my ancestors of almost any amount of generations ago, and none of them would have ever done that, right?
Jumped out of a perfectly good plane.
or been in a plane.
So a human experience for you is not so much something that's done a lot, but something that just has been a part of human history
it's
part of
culture.
human experience over the past span of humans.
So Yeah,
right
it's
now.
like, and this
I get
is encompassed a lot of different things. Like, it even encompasses like religion, right? Like, I've read the English translation of the Quran, for example, because like that's a very prominent book. I've read the Torah. I've read the Apocrypha. I've read like Buddhist things and whatever I can get my hands on. Like I've prayed to the Ra, the sun god, like the ancient Egyptian sun god, right? Just to like know, like to try to get that experience. When I was a kid, I had like the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead because like I wanted to read that.
I do want to read that still.
It's not great. Yeah, I mean, I still have it, but it's not a page turner. But anyways, and so like for me, it's all about like here's a concept like this polytheistic concept, for example. I want to experience that. I want to experience like what it is to like actually believe in multiple gods and like go all in on it, right? Because that is a thing that for a lot of human history, that's what we did, right? And even to this day, obviously, there's still plenty of religions that have multiple gods or a pantheon or what have you. And I mean, there's different types. Like I haven't done like Shinto or anything, which is like everything has some kind of spirit or deity. I don't know much about Shinto, to be honest, but again, it's all about just like what is that human experience. And so some things are like now I'm just kind of just talking about religious stuff, but there's like ancestor worship, right? There's like you look at like Gobekli Tepe. I'm sure I mispronounced that really hardcore, but there's a lot of like animals and like animal worship, right? And it's just again, it comes down to this thing of like I've grown up in a very specific time, but also Utah. Right, and in Utah, there's not one religion. There's obviously multiples. Excuse me. But there's one that's pushed super hard.
Yeah, there's one prominent one.
There's one prominent one.
Or one that Utah's known for.
One that exactly. It's multiple wives and all that fun stuff, which is an experience I have not had, and I feel like that's an important one too. So I need to make that happen.
How are you gonna work that one out?
Say, how are you going to say you have to wait for when it's made legal or something? The problem is that's an experience you're going to commit to.
Yeah, that
was a fun experience. Multiple divorces?
No, that was a joke. But again,
oh, yeah, of course. But
no, but like so, like I grew up and like the belief of just one God, specifically like the Christian God or the LDS God, if you want to get more specific, that was like all I had. And what's interesting to me is that, and I don't want to make this like a thing about the LDS Church or anything, but like one of the great stories of the LDS Church is like Joseph Smith looked at a lot of different churches, right? Like he explored a lot of different options before essentially kind of making his own or depending on your beliefs, however that kind of happened. But like I never did that, right? Like I basically, to me, I've kind of have it as the analogy of I walked into one sandwich shop, I tried one sandwich, and then proclaimed that it was the best sandwich in the world. And that's silly, right? Like you have to try other things in order to know what's right for you. And you have to try them wholeheartedly. Like, I'll be real, I served an LDS mission, and on the mission, like, I remember both myself as well as other missionaries, like, the Catholic Church was kind of considered like, haha, that's ridiculous that they do all this stuff or whatever, right? But, like, I didn't give the Catholic Church, like, a real try. I didn't, like, try to invest in it, so I don't know the value that people get out of the Catholic Church. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, then, you bring up an interesting point, because as I have become a Mason and my thoughts have changed and I'm in a time period where I'm trying to expand my mind and my experiences, doing what you have done or continue to do, I've investigated the Methodist Church and the Catholic Church, and I'm really surprised at how rich some of their ritual is and how beautiful some of the things they are that they do. And I want to go, I mean, it used to be a tradition of this lodge that we're sitting in, that they would go visit as a group of brothers.
I love this idea.
A different church.
Oh my gosh, what
I've been meaning to do that.
For Christmas. They would go as a group.
Go to a different mass or service
go
or something.
Go either to the Baptist church or something like that. They would go as a group of brothers and sit in one of their holiday services.
I love this.
That'd be fun for Christmas.
And just experience it. And they experienced it. And I was just looking through the minutes that they would send to the Grand Council, And that was in a couple of them. I was like, man, I really want to do that. And the nice thing about the COVID stuff is
You can now.
yeah, I mean, a lot of the local places here have been broadcasting, if you will, or streaming, which is the more appropriate term, their services online. It's been fun to watch. Some of the stuff is just absolutely beautiful, and you would be surprised how much they have in common with what we do as Masons.
Totally, and that's kind of the point that, again, I almost didn't mean to get to this point, but that's kind of, I think, where this goes, is that's why I've latched on to Masonry so much, is because it's not, here's a religion, follow this religion, this is the way to heaven, or you're going to hell forever, right? Like, it's very much your journey. It's not a religion, but it is spiritual, right? And that's, as I've again read this stuff, as I've investigated different, and I've kind of veered away from specific churches these days, and I'm more into like different types of belief in different types of divine, because I do believe there's some kind of divine, but I'm not entirely sure what it is, and so I like exploring that. And again, that's why I like Masonry, is because as long as I believe in that divine of any kind, I can have my own kind of personal journey. And it doesn't have to be the LDS Church's version of my spiritual journey. Yeah, it's, again, that's why I like Freemasonry so much, is because it gets to be my experience. It's, if I am LDS, great. Like, if that's the road I want to walk down, Freemasonry's fine with that. If it is Baptist, even if it is any religion, as long as it believes in some kind of divine.
That's what's been a valuable part of it for me too, is you're bonded with these people over the common ground or common core of just being a good person.
Yeah.
No matter what that means for you, just being the best that you can be, no matter what it comes from.
Absolutely.
And that's, I agree. That's a huge part of it.
Yeah, and I don't know, I think there's a lot of these days, everything is, you're either on this side or that side. You see it in politics, you see it everywhere, and this isn't a new trend for humanity.
It's us or them.
It's just us doing it over again.
This is how every period of history has ever been. It's always us or them, right? But especially now with like the way the internet works, it definitely feels like you're either a Christian or you're not, right? And if you're not a Christian, there's this belief of like, well, you can't have good morals then, you can't have good values because you're not Christian. So like, what are your values then? That's not saying that Christianity doesn't have good values. What I'm saying is that almost seems like you have to be Christian in a lot of people's minds to be a good person. And again, that's why I like Masonry, is because it's not about, most of the time, it's not about you have to be a Christian or you have to be this. You have to be a good person first. That's what I like.
I wonder if maybe that's why, because not just our lodge, a lot of lodges are reporting seeing an influx of younger men coming in. I wonder if that's part of it. They see this place where instead of being taught polarity, they're taught understanding and loving and, like brotherly love, relief, and truth. Like that doesn't mean, that means no matter where somebody comes from. Or actually, I did an educational piece on Rudyard Kipling, and he got his stuff done in India, where they had Jews, they had Buddhists, they had Christians, they had everything in one lodge. And the only time that your religion mattered is that they would make sure that the Jews were served food that they could eat.
The Jewish people.
Yeah, and besides that, like, it didn't matter at all to them. And that's not really a peaceful place for those people to meet, but in lodge it was. So I wonder if that's part of what's bringing in the influx of new people, because it's a place of harmony.
21. Harmony Lodge.
Harmony Lodge 21.
21.
Yeah.
And
23 is the one down the street.
And 23 is the one down the street. And that might not be why we're seeing new people, but it's got to be part of it, is what I think. But who knows?
Well, and that's one of the beautiful pieces about the closing of Lodge that I really like. Is what is said there, is we're all on the level, all equal, regardless of what we do, what we believe.
All right, well, that was our episode this week of the From the North Masonic podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope to see you next week.
Enjoy your week, everybody.
See, no, I think that's too much now. I think you just ruined it.
Because when we do, when it's organic, we all kind of like say goodbye in a way, because we're just Wrapping up a chit chat.
And there is nothing that isn't organic. Ooh, we should certify this podcast as organic.
Certified, a little sticker there in the corner, certified organic.
That would bring in the views. You know what I'm saying?
That would bring in the people. I only
not
consume
beef.
organic
It's not
podcasts.
beef.
It's not beef. Like,
It's not beef.
at best, this is celery. Or, like, some sort of carrot.
It can't be celery, because celery is such little substance
There you
that
go.
you actually lose calories from it.
Exactly. See, you get it.
That's an insult to our podcast.
Oh, join us next week if you can bear it.
The Masonic Celery Podcast.
Masonic celery.
Because really, it's not worth what you put in. It's not worth what you put into it.
Man, it's so
That's
true.
terrible.
But accurate.
That's one.
The host of the From the North podcast are providing this broadcast as a public service and for their own selfish motives. It is neither a legal interpretation nor a statement of any Grand Lodge, local lodge, or any Masonic body, or Freemasonry in general. Any reference to any specific product, subject, or entity does not constitute an endorsement or a recommendation. The rantings, tomfoolery, and views expressed by the guests and the host are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply any endorsement of them, any Grand or local lodge, or any entity they represent.